Groaners, welcome to episode 56 of the Groan Zone, where the groany things live. We are back to normal this week, without any specials, but we will be gearing up for Christmas, the closer it gets. Before we go on, we'll just remind you to send in your Ohhh Unlucky stories, your feedback, your Zero or Hero of the Week nominations, and of course, your groans. Please use the following: Discord at the Groan Zone Podcast, dropping into the Groan Zone Facebook group, flying us an email into the groanzonepod@gmail.com, and lastly, you can find yours truly under Mystery Groaner on Facebook Messenger. With that being said, we'll move straight down into the podcast. Your games this week are also Yes or BS and Mythical or Legendary. But now, instead of me groaning first, we'll flip it over to the audience. Makes a change. This one comes in from Rach F of Manchester via Discord, and she groans about the following: when people think they are only interesting, only to come off as annoying. She also groans about people who post spammy rubbish online, which people already know, or just garbage, and they end up waffling on. Both good groans, cheers Rach. In fact, people probably think I'm annoying when I keep waffling on about the podcast, but in the words of Uncle Sam, we need you, groaners. I'll return later to give you my groan 3-piece, but let us crash land into our first game, that being Mythical or Legendary. Brief reminder, all you've got to do is choose if the following urban legends are steeped in fact, or do they smell of utter poop. Mythical or Legendary. 1 point per round. Round 1, Liloyon. For years upon years, there were sightings of a mysterious figure in the Mole's Forest, I probably butchered that because it's French, who wandered around in a heavy-duty camouflage boiler suit and vintage gas mask. The local population gave him the name Liloyon, and he existed mostly as a tongue-in-cheek ghost story. That wasn't until in 2013 when someone snapped a photo of him in all his gear, and the photo wasn't too clear. The locals went wild looking for him in the woods. This must have upset him, because they found his neatly folded outfit and a note describing his dismay at being hunted when all he wanted was to be left in peace. Is this mythical or legendary, groaners? Those playing along live, shoot your answers in. Those playing along after the fact, press pause, answer unpause. Ooh, what we got? We have more people going for legendaries. Okay. Now then, round number 2. The Catman of Greenock. This figure cuts a memorable figure, balding face, black with dirt, and usually has a rat hanging from his mouth. He was told as a fable in mythology in the West Scottish town of Greenock for years. However, in 2007 a grainy video was uploaded of the figure in mid-rat meal, confirming he was real. But is this mythical or legendary, groaners? Same as before, you know what to do. Okay, we've got some mythicals coming in there. Oh, some more mythicals. No one believes this one. Alright. Okay, any more? Oh, 1 legendary. 1. Okay. That's it for the answers, groaners. We'll find out if you're right or wrong later. Now, I don't know about you, but those urban legends creep me out. Because of course I had to research them. But we aren't done with the creepiness yet. We bring you what I feel is sheer brilliance from Adam and Nicole once again, who writes weekly stories for our creepy pleasure. Yes, groaners, you know what time it is. It's time for Creepy Corner. And this week's story is called The New Tooth. The years passed, and Valencia didn't grow up well, as every day got more and more bleak. Her once happy demeanour was ruined by a single mistake. She blamed herself for years. Her father took to gambling away their money, and her mother took to drinking. Valencia eventually began to realise that her parents' love was never real, just a disgusting mirage to keep her happy so she could keep making them rich. The illusion wasn't just erased at home though. The now much smaller house they were living in, still the same town, the same faces, but though she healed from her accident, her teeth are now crooked and she needs braces to fix them. The town that once adored her smile and bought everything with her face on it, now looks at her in scorn and disgust. She didn't know what she hated more, the hatred she now receives from everyone, or the fact that people only liked her while she was useful. The bright blue sky, full of sunshine and rainbows as a child, is now nothing but storms and darkness. The worst part is, the more days she suffered through like this, the happier she got. In a strange way, she was becoming happier as everything became more real. She just turned 16, and like every night since the accident, she got to fall asleep to her parents arguing as they loudly proclaimed, counting down the days until Valencia was no longer their problem. It was in that moment, as she sat in the park and smiled through the rain, that a ball had come flying out of nowhere and hit her in the face, knocking out a tooth. The one fallback she had was her belief in the Tooth Fairy. Something she knew she had to hold on to, and that night changed her life. When she woke up, she saw a strange coin left in place of her tooth. Not the usual ones she was used to with a green crown at the top. This was a plain gold coin with an inscription. To change your life, just say yes. Be warned, there is no way back. She wasted no time in saying yes, and that's when the coin exploded in a bright light and she awoke in some kind of factory. The old man was right, came a voice. Valencia awoke in front of a mirror in some sort of abandoned factory. Her clothes had changed and wings were coming out of her back. She could have been shocked, but she smiled instead. She accepted her fate when she saw the coin. She didn't need anything from her old life. Whatever was going on, this was her choice, and she would spill chaos. This is the underground. You're a tooth fairy now, so I can finally retire soon. We collect teeth, and well, you don't really need to know what we use them for right now, the tooth fairy replied. Don't worry though, it's all kinds of chaos, so you won't be bored. Green currants for good, and red for the bad is enough to know for now. A blessing and a curse, if you will. As Valencia tried to take it all in, she heard footsteps approaching. It was the old man she saw for a brief second that day she fell. You're one of us now. Eternity can be a beautiful thing if you do your job right. Just don't ever keep it waiting, he said. Well, as I said, completely creepy. And another class story from the mind of Admin Nicole. I'll see if I can twist her arm to read more of these in future. I'll try anyway. She's probably grimacing horror right now. More next week. But now, we find us rounding the corner to Ohhh Unlucky! This happened on August the 14th, 5 years ago. I never said these had to be recent. Upon finding this, I couldn't believe it, but it is honestly to God true. Some poor sod out there had a bird, a rather small one, it looked like, fly into their room via their window. The bird then landed on their laptop keyboard, took a crap, and then promptly keeled over and died in front of the poor unlucky person. In their live Twitter post, with the image and story, they added, "How's your day going?" Wow. Just unbelievable. Unlucky person and poor unlucky bird. For now, let us move on to our second game of the day. Yes or BS. It's simple. Don't pick the BS or all your points are gone. That's all I'm going to say. Round 1. The Drunken Napoleon Wood Round. Option A. Napoleon Bonaparte stood at 5'2" tall. Option B. George Washington started losing his teeth in his 20s. To sort this, he had replacement dentures made of wood. Option C. Alexander the Great killed his best friend in a drunken rage. Go, Groaners! Fire them off in the room. Those playing along after the fact, press pause, answer when you're ready and unpause. Let's see what we've got going on in the room. Ooh, a mixed bag! Across the board we've a mix of A, B's and C's. Wow. Okay. I don't ask any more answers because we've got a nice spread there. We'll come back to that later. Round 2. The Sega Wumpus Arcade Round. Option A. as of 2018, or 2018 if you like, Sega was still making games for the Sega Genesis. Option B. The Super Mario Bros. Was Nintendo's first arcade machine. And option C. Atari's first ever developable game was called Hunt the Wumpus in 1968. Again, groaners, fire it off now. Play along after the fact. Pause, answer, unpause. Give me your answers, groaners. Ooh, there are none coming in. I've got them thinking now. Someone's torn between C and B. Someone's hiding an A. A few more people have gone A. Can the person who put C and B down... Oh no, they put B for that. Sorry, misread the room. They put B down. Okay, so we've got A's and B's. Any for C? No? Anybody? Okay. Moving on. Round 3, last round. The Paris Catacombs round. Or Catacombs, I should say. Not doing well today, groaners. Option A. The catacombs are viewed as they were first built. Option B. The catacombs are 267 miles long. Option C. The catacombs were built to house the dead as the cemeteries were overcrowded. Go, groaners. Give me your answers. Playing after the fact. Pause, answer, unpause. Ooh. Lots firing in the ears there. Any more? Ooh, we've got some B's coming across. And was that a C coming up? Yep, the C as well. Any more groaners? Okay. No more? Okay. You get any points, groaners? You'll find out soon enough. For now, we move on to our zero of the week. So this idiot is from February 2000. Well, I didn't even say it. It's this year. Last February gone. And I'm probably going to butcher the name, so I do apologise. Zvonimir Stevic, who's 65, was a Serbian MP. Why did I say was? Will allow me to enlighten you, dear groaners. So there was a heated debate going on about how to normalise relations between Serbia and Kosovo. Zvonimir wasn't too bothered as he was in the middle of watching pornography in Serbian parliament. To make matters worse, he was also the chair of the Serbian Parliament's Committee for Kosovo. What a total puppet brain ponce. He swiftly resigned once his colleagues called for him to do, so I bet he's got plenty of time to watch porn now. He also now has the nickname of the Porno MP. Unbelievable. Now, groaners, here are the game answers. For mythical or legendary, both of them were actually legendary. Both true. I couldn't believe it myself. Both of them true. These are both actual figures, both in France and Scotland. So someone needs rats, and someone needs to go through the Scottish, wherever it was, Greenock. Oh, I'm getting them mixed up. Someone needs to go in France, wearing a full boiler suit and a mask. Whatever floats your boat. Now we have the yes or BS answers. Round 1, the Drunken Napoleon Wood round. If you went for option A, it's false. This was his height in French units. He was actually 5'7", which was above the average height in France during his time. If you went for option B, that's also false. He had dentures made of ivory, lead, and I can't quite believe this, both human and animal teeth, to name a few things. God, I can imagine trying to eat with the teeth of a walrus. Bloody hell. Anyway, if you went for option C, this is true. Even though his best friend Clytus the Black saved his life, the drink did not stop Alexander the Great from killing his best friend. Anyone who went for option C, you got points for round 1. Round 2, the Sega Wumpus Arcade round. If you went for option A, it's 100% true. They still use the Genesis development software to make games such as Tanglewood. So the Sega Genesis is still getting games made for it. I've never seen any on the shelves, so you must have to order them from Sega themselves. That'll cost a fair penny. If you went for option B, nope, sorry, it wasn't the Mario Brothers. Their first arcade machine was in 1973 titled the Laser Clay Shooting System. If you went for option C, wrong. Atari's first game was released in 1971 under the title Computer Space. Hunt the Wumpus was actually made by somebody else, if I remember rightly. And last round, the Paris Catacombs round. If you went for option A, you're wrong. It's false because when Paris got a Napoleon III makeover in the 19th century, so did the catacombs. If you went for option B, false as well. They are actually 186 miles long, not 267. And if you went for option C, it's true there. This came about in the 17th century and were a series of modified mines. So the dead that were no longer in graves were actually put into what used to be the French mines underneath Paris. God, morbid there as well. Wow, some strange things this podcast. But just before we sign off, there's just enough time for me to vent my spleen with my Groany 3-piece. But just to add, I hope one of you out there, my Groan crew, hope you got points. If you got blanked for only yes or BS, I'm deeply sorry. Now, Groan number 1. When you order fish and chips and the batter is utter mush, I retch every single time this happens. Groan number 2. When you order a takeaway because you got nothing in, at the last minute, the takeaway place cancels your order. Happened to me the other week. All I had was a Pringles takeaway? A Pringles sandwich. Thanks for that. Thanks. And groan number 3. When delivery drivers don't even bother to knock on your door, they then leave a card saying you were not in. I went to the bathroom the other day. Bear in mind, due to illness, I'd been in all day. Lo and behold, there was the card. How about you knock next time, you 4-carat gold pillock? And breathe. That's my groans vented and taking the show out this week. See you for more groany fun next week, groaners. Bye-bye.